Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sleven back at you with another Milestone Season 1 comic review. You all see the title in the thumbnail, so you know where we're about to go into. Finally, Icon and Rocket issue number 1 is out, which is interesting and I believe was very anticipated, especially with the Black Kal-El Superman shenanigans circling the Hollywood scene. Most of us comic readers and true DC fans would prefer Icon or Steel over a Clark Kent covered in Nutella. So without further ado, let's get into why you clicked on this video. Yo. After Static's first issue since years without publication, so many of us who grew up being fans of the TV series and reading Milestone's comics were anticipating the return of Icon, Rocket, Hardware, and hopefully the Blood Syndicate will soon come as well. Static's first issue had mixed reactions after its debut, but after a few issues down the line, I guess we'll get a better gauge into how the series is faring. I can't say the same for Icon and Rocket though. Not disappointed, but I wasn't as intrigued to read more of the same as I was with Static issue number 1. Don't get me wrong, I'll continue to read and support the comic as long as it develops well, but from what I read, it's not pulling me in. Let's get the positives out the way first. One of my favorite comic artists has taken the helm on this, Joe Quinones. Very well known for his work on several Batman series comics and the proclaimed controversial redesign of America Chavez by New Age Gen Z readers. The art style is very traditionally Western American comic style, with well-sketched designs and cross-hatched shadows. Very well done designs of Black American characters across time periods and settings. Not one Black character looks like a carbon copy, and you can tell he took the time to study various phenotypes of Black folk, which is well appreciated among the various lazy self-proclaimed pro artists on social media nowadays. The beginning of the issue starts out great. We get a retelling of Icon's origins and how he ended up on Earth. Please, skip ahead if you do not want to be spoiled from here on in. Instead of Icon riding on an alien starliner that malfunctioned and exploded, causing him to take a life pod and crash land on Earth, this time, Arnis was the guardian of a life ship, keeping watch over the passengers who were in cryosleep. A shape-shifting alien with a mission to destroy all of them sneaks on board and disguises himself as a Terminant. It proceeds to plant an explosive to destroy the ship, but Arnis takes notice and engages the creature, yet gets blindsided. Before he can stop the creature from escaping, the explosive activates. The creature escapes and Arnis is forced to abandon his crewmates and take a life pod to escape, crash landing in Georgia pre-Civil War era after drifting in space for a time, where he was found by an enslaved couple who planned to escape via the Underground Railroad. We cut to the modern day as we meet up with Raquel, aka Rocket, prior to meeting Augustus. From here, things get a little mixed up for me. Raquel is in a relationship with a boy named Anthony, who is in a trio of friends who are local thieves. She hangs out with them obviously because of her boyfriend, but acts like a know-it-all, and yet continues to do dumb things with him. Her boyfriend convinces her to break into Augustus's home with some corny lines. As they scope around his home to see what they can steal, Raquel runs into Augustus and he confronts the teenagers for invading his home. Then the most believable scene takes place. Anthony pulls out a gun. As Augustus tries to tell Anthony that this isn't a good idea, like a dumb teen, he tries to act tough by displaying power due to the gun in his hand. Like an uppity old head, Augustus proceeds to insult and calls his bluff. In that moment, Anthony's trigger-happy nerves slip and he shoots Augustus. Everyone is panicking on what to do next. While Raquel realizes there's no blood, Augustus proceeds to rise off the floor, chase, corner, scold, and threaten the teenagers about what just happened. That night after the encounter, Raquel makes a life-changing decision to not associate with Anthony and his goons anymore, and goes to see Augustus. Raquel returns to Augustus's home, knocks on the door and asks to come in because she was thinking about the break-in. Now here's where it gets kinda weird. Augustus proceeds to let her come in so they can talk. Raquel starts explaining about how stupid it is that she associates with her boyfriend, proclaiming she's so much better than him, how she's lonely and the nice boys are too scared to ask her out, so she figures why not be popular by dating Anthony. So, is this her way of apologizing? By blaming her reckless choices on her male peers and how it somehow brought her to Augustus? She proceeds to scold Icon for not doing anything with his gifts when it comes to their community and him living in his high castle, which is fair. Augustus rebukes with the logical response that if he removes those responsible, that more will take their place soon, and Raquel says the answer is to remove them again.
What?
She then says, I think you should be a superhero, and I should be your partner because I'm more than a homebreaker. Augustus refuses and Raquel goes, no to your no.
What?
Who does this little girl think she is, talking to a grown man she doesn't know like that? So she proceeds to pull out some poor sketches of what she came up with for them. Augustus reassures that if he does the impossible things, people are just going to take it for granted, and then complaining about what he didn't do. Raquel responds with, that's why you need me. I keeps it real. Son, who wrote this? So in order to convince Augustus, she proceeds to blame the drug dealers in the neighborhood, who are more than likely male, and uses the Martin Luther King would turn over in his grave argument that Fox News and their sheep love to spew to rationalize their bias. Augustus keeps reassuring her with the facts of how the economic state will always require someone to sell drugs to escape poverty. Raquel continues to beg by asking if they can at least try. Then it gets really weird. We cut to a flashback of Augustus with his ex-wife in the early 1900s Paris, convincing Augustus to try and do more for the black community. The weird thing is, Raquel ironically resembles this woman he was once enamored with. But wait for it. Augustus looks like an older version of Anthony. You know, Raquel's ex-boyfriend? Right. Not weird at all. So Augustus ends up accepting and agreeing to become partners with Raquel. So here's the thing. This issue isn't bad, but I'm getting weird vibes the closer I get to the end. Like weird agenda, stereotypical vibes. I could be reading too much into it, but do I need to say more about the Batgirl and Batman vibes? If you know, you know. Not going to judge too far. This is only the first issue, so we'll see where the next few issues take us. I'm kind of in limbo with this one, but at the end of the day, support these comics if you want to see more of Milestone. I know I will. But please, for the love of Oshun, do not have horrible writers ruin these series. Are any of you planning on picking up this first issue of Icon and Rocket? If you've already read it, how did you feel about the issue, and do you plan on picking up the next? If you enjoy Milestone and on the fence of picking up the new issues, check out my review of Static Season 1 issue number 1 on the channel. The link will be in the description, and don't forget to drop a like for your boy to trigger the tube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel, especially if you like character retrospectives and gaming reviews. I recently did a retrospective on Isaac from Netflix Castlevania, and uploaded my reviews of RE3 and Link's Awakening. You know the vibes. It's Kaizoku Sleven. Appreciate you.